Bonjour. My name is Amanda. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a 9th year teacher and I am teaching grade 1-2 French Immersion. Today is the third full day of school and so far it's going a lot better than the first 2 days because we're able to get outside. So the first day of school was a bit chaotic because with the smoke we had to have indoor recess. Something I've never experienced on the first day of school, so I was definitely exhausted, and it was tough because we didn't have like our full centers out and play items, so I'm sure they were a bit tired by the end of the day. Then yesterday was inside again, and again tiring but not as bad as Monday. We had more like play options. We were a bit more used to like a longer day, and I apparently tired students out with all the cutting and pasting, so we're changing that plan up. You can sort of see behind me, yep, there, we made some rainbows. Sorry, I'm just trying to blur the background a bit more. But we made those rainbows as like an about me rainbow, which normally is something I do in June with Pride, but needed something for all the inside time we had. Okay, so we did the rainbows. We also did like the letters like M, c'est pour madame, but it was like the first letter of their name, then they got to decorate those, and I won't show you those because student names. Yeah, otherwise we've been doing some letter and sound practice, and we started on the first full day with the letter S. And really what these look like is we have the letter and the sound, and then in the back we have some words that start with that sound, just to introduce some vocab and review some vocab as well. And with that, then they have some stuff to cut out. Like they'll get the letter poem, and this is all Madame Andrea's stuff, but they get the letter poem, they glue it in their journal, and then around the poem they draw things that start with that letter. For the cut and paste, they get something like this. It was like, this stuff is the stuff that tired them out, and like it's not hard work, it's just I think their like finger muscles aren't used to like all the cutting and gluing, and some more letter recognition. So I'm hoping to tone that down a bit for next week, so we can get in some other literacy support too. But so far things are going well. Health-wise is just where there are always concerns, I guess, especially like being inside for 2 days with doors and windows closed and students don't have to wear masks. Like that's more so where like my concern at least comes from. Yeah. Anyway, so I'll stop here and we'll check in later. Okay, so I did not expect my next clip to be from home. This week got to me. It was absolutely exhausting. It's Sunday evening at about like 5 o'clock and I am planning, so I think I'm going to walk you through some of the planning that I'm doing. But I also want to talk a little bit about my week just as like a reflection for myself. So we had 2 days back with students. So like this past week was the first full week, but prior to that we were in with students on the Thursday and Friday. So half of my class came on the Thursday for 75 minutes, and then the other half came on the Friday for 75 minutes. And those periods of time like were good. It was more so like the orientation days, just to show students like where they line up, how to walk in the hallways, what the washroom procedures are, because like only 2 kids can be in the washroom at a time. And so at that point when we gave the little training, it was holler into the washroom and make sure there's only 2 people in there before you go in. but now there's like a little sign that they can flip that says like stop and go, so they're not making as much noise in the hallways. Yeah, so we went over like washing procedures, lots of hand washing. We played outside for a bit. We did like a tour of the school. Not too much. So it was okay. The rest of those days, like, I spent setting up the room. I went in on the weekend because I had these two like storage ottomans and they were falling apart. Like, I went to put a lid on one of them and the staple from one ended up cutting me. So I was like, these are not safe for the classroom, so I got rid of them. And I've had a Trofast, like the 3x3 like bench, like the Trofast bench. I've had one of those in my garage for a couple of months with like full intentions of bringing it into the classroom, but I had never had the time or the energy or the interest to bring it into my classroom and build it. So that weekend I went in with my partner and we built that, and it's currently housing all my loose part stuff. So I'm hoping my next video will be like a classroom tour or something for me to show you what my space looks like. Yeah, so like the first full week of work for me, it was okay. Like, I had been in the school in June teaching in person, so it felt similar to that. So like emotion wise, I was okay. This past week, which is the first full week of school with students, was lovely and brutal at the same time. So Monday was our first full day. All 18 kids were there, and like, we got a lot done. Like, we got into our alphabet routine, just jumping right in because who knows how long we'll be in class before we're shut out again. And I figure our alphabet like review should be okay for grade 1 too. And like, really it was mostly cut, paste, trace, color. Like, it wasn't hard work. I think I showed you in like the previous clip like what that routine looked like. But because of the smoke from the forest fires, we were inside all day. And part of my plan was to be outside for most of the day. So even like the recess and lunch breaks, like, students were in all day, and like we hadn't had time to go over our like play routines with centers. And I didn't intend on bringing out my centers until later that week, but it happened on Monday. So yeah, my plans changed that first day of school. I have my day book in front of me, so I'm just gonna look at like some of the activities we did. So like the first day they had their Play-Doh. Like, they walked in, they had Play-Doh at their desks, and they just played for a bit while they brought in supplies, and we started organizing supplies a bit. I'll save like the supply stuff for another video as well, so I can actually be in my classroom and show you. We did a morning meeting. I read Je m'appelle Catherine, and we did like the letter for their name, so like M c'est pour madame. So we did that decoration. We did David va à l'école. We worked with the letter S. We went to the gym. It was busy. Like, it was a busy day. I was exhausted. So Tuesday was similar. And Monday and Tuesday are days that I don't have a prep. So those 2 days with no prep and being inside my classroom all day with students, like, it was long. And like, because my students don't know the routines for transitions yet, like, I didn't feel comfortable leaving them while I took my like recess break or when I took like my lunch. Typically I live close enough to the school that I'm able to go home for lunch or come home for lunch. But all of last week I stayed for lunch just to make sure like the students were pretty familiar with the routine. So hopefully this week I'll be able to come home and eat lunch at home, or at least leave my classroom. So we also read a bunch of books last week. We read 5 in total, and I shared the like all the titles on my Instagram account, which is @islandteaching. So you can head over there and check out the books we've read. We had an assembly as well on Friday, which was interesting because it was done through MS Teams. With all of that though, like we were so excited that on Wednesday the smoke, like the air quality index was low enough that we were able to go outside. So like Monday, Tuesday it was a 10 plus, which is inside, but then Wednesday it went down to I believe 7 or 8, and then it's been going down since. So like today, like the skies are pretty clear. I didn't check the air quality index itself, but it's good. It's good. One thing I really enjoyed doing this past week was reaching out one-on-one to families and just checking in to see how the transition to school is going. So each day I've been trying to email like 2 to 4 families, just saying like, hey, like I'm so glad you're part of the classroom, and that I get to work with you this year. I also try to include things that I've noticed about the students so far. So for example, like I really noticed like so-and-so is super creative, and they were so excited when we were doing our directed drawings, and just things like that to make more of a connection and to see if there's anything I can do to support or any questions that they might have. Like I try to make a positive connection before I have to reach out with any problems, and I think that's one of like my favorite email tips that I've learned in my career. So I want this video to be pretty quick because like I said, it's Sunday evening and I didn't continue to film, so I'll maybe show you a little bit of the planning that I have for this upcoming week, and then I'm going to shut this down and go edit and upload and hopefully have a video up before the end of the day today. And hopefully I'll also be planned for at least tomorrow. So my setup is definitely messy right now, but I figured I'd just show you like the real life. So this weekend it was the teacher appreciation sale at Indigo, or Chapters. So I always say I have no intention of buying books, but then like this happens and I have books. So I picked up 2 in English, so I picked up this one and this one. I'll just, like the other ones I have on one of my Instagram reels, so you can go check out the rest there. Anyway, so from here I was like, okay, now I've got a bunch of different books that I want to include in my plan, so let me walk you through that. So I've got books that I bought, stuff that I've printed, up here. So I have a page protector that says to prep, and this goes like to mark my current week. I like that it will cover, like once there's stuff in it, it'll hide this, so I'm really focused on that, and vice versa, so it's not too overwhelming to look at. So I have some of the things that are going to go in it, which is this little like Cascatua booklet, super simple. Some stuff that I just need to file at school, so it goes my prep because it's tidy it up, just part of my prep. And then, oh my gosh, I've got stuff everywhere, I'm a mess. So up here is this birthday board I've been working on, and I picked up like these little, let me just see if I can find one without a name. So I picked up these like wood chips from Michael's, and I wrote like the student's name and the number for their birthday, and then I'm going to hot glue them onto some ribbon underneath here. So that's a to-do project. I have this, which is a prep project to make little like scrapbooks for going outside, and this is my planning. So I'm going to talk a bit fast because I need to get to the planning. What I've done is, because what stresses me out a lot is I have so many books that I want to share, and I never know like when when am I going to share them, what's my plan for it, and all that. So I decided to write the book title on each of these post-its and any ideas that I have to go with it. So for example, the book They, She, He, Me, Free to Be, I want to do some watercolor self-portraits that go along with that. La couleur des émotions, I have an art activity that I haven't quite like figured out fully yet, probably because it'll include some painting. I have the book Je Peux, and I'm want to do a writing activity, so I know I need to make the page for that, where it's just a sheet of paper The middle it says je peux, and then around it they'll write and draw things that they can do. Circle of caring and sharing, so we can do a little talking circle before they go to music. This one is the I Promise book by LeBron James, and doing like a class promise that ties in with that. And then I have like the letter planned out for each day, like little buddy walk that we're going to do around the perimeter of the school, and then just little notes to myself, like I want to introduce like how to do a territory acknowledgement in Monday's morning meeting, and then math, like I am always able to pull in like some number talks and some quick things. So that's what my planning is looking like for now. So what I'm going to work on my computer is making like any other handouts that I need to make, and I'll also quickly put this into my Google Doc so I have a digital copy as well. So that's that. Ideally, I would like to make a video that isn't filmed in this office space of mine. Anyways, thanks for your patience with me this week. I hope you were able to enjoy something from this video, and if not, I hope you'll stick around for next week, where I hope to share a bit more of like a classroom tour and a walkthrough of what our space is looking like and how we're using it. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and à la prochaine! Goodbye!